joining us. Viewers, as always, if you got questions while we're going through the show, type them in. Coach Charles is going to read them off. You definitely want to ask as many questions as you can today. We got Coach Buck Harris out of Jones County High School. Coach Terry Smith out of Middle Creek High School. Coach Tawandi King out of Dooley County High School. Coach Jamal Garman, state championship winning Warner Robins High School. And last but not least, we got Coach Sherman White, 8-time state championship out of Pace Academy. Besides that, Coach, I told you I'm going to have to brag on you a little bit. You won 2 gold medals with USA Basketball, USA Boys Basketball Coach of the Year, National High School Association Coach of the Year, and then had a court named after you at your old school out at Miller Grove. Did I get all that right, Coach?
You got it all right, man.
Hey guys, we're tremendously honored to have you guys on the podcast today. Like I said, I know it's going to be a good one. There's a lot of energy and excitement already. Looking forward to this. Kind of what I explained to you guys before we started was this platform was established to bring awareness to basketball, right, in the Middle Georgia area. So for everything from coaches to parents to players. With me being an up-and-coming coach, I got like 1,000 questions to ask, but I know I can't ask all of them today, but we're gonna figure it out. But we're gonna jump into the show. My first question or topic that I'm gonna throw out is the shot clock. So that was the big news of today. So Coach Sherman, I'm gonna ask you if you just want to start off how big that is for the state that we're gonna have a shot clock in high school.
I think it's huge, man. I mean, you're talking about something that, again, it's only 9 states currently, with us becoming the 10th state that have approved and that use the shot clock. And for where the game is right now, the pace of the game and the way the game's played, and it's not just about preparing kids to be able to play at the college level. I think that's the most, that's not the reason why we wanted them, because that's a small percentage. We really wanted to kind of like advance the way the game is being played. You got Europeans, I coach with USA Basketball, and we play a lot of those countries, and they're playing with shot clocks in middle school. So, and they're closing the gap on us as far as, because they know how to play. You look at Doncic and you look at guys like that, they know how to play. And so that shot clock teaches you how to play because you got to think fast, you got to think under pressure, and, it's a better offensive player just as well as a better defensive player. With that kind of like that time factor coming in, every 30 seconds or every 24 seconds or what have you. So I think it's a monumental decision. Again, we went down, we were optimistic, but we also prepared ourselves that if it didn't pass, we had to wait 2 years before we could present it again. But things happen, and we had great representation down there today. Tom Crean, University of Georgia head coach, Coach Rob Lanier, Georgia State head coach, they came and spoke on behalf of it, and I thought they did a phenomenal job. Rory Welsh, who kind of spearheaded this whole thing, he did a phenomenal job of preparing and presenting. And I think, even the people that might have been leaning, against it had to kind of like say that this is for the advancement of the game. This is not about, personal objectives and all those things. It's just about the advancement of the basketball game.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Coach Garman, let me ask you, what do you think that's going to do for basketball in this area?
Like you said, the overall basketball IQ of the players is going to have to either get better or they'll have to just find another sport to play, because with the shot clock being here now, it's going to have to be situational basketball at times, and a lot of times for the game that wins or loses you the game. So with the shot clock being added, man, I think it's going to be a great thing for the game. Kids like I said, the IQ is going to be a lot higher, and the game should be a lot faster, and should make a little more money at the door too as well if people come in and watch the game. Won't be in there walking the ball, looking all the ball, trying to hold the ball from getting blown out. But I think it's a great thing.
Yes, sir. Coach King?
Yeah, I think it's a great idea, great concept. I've been on the opposite end of that style ball game, and I think that style ball just is bad for the game and whatnot. With the introduction of the shot clock, you can get more shots up and down here you like to run. And so, that's
Coach Harris?
I think it's also great for the game, but it's going to also help the kids. But most importantly, coaches now don't have to sharpen their skills to get ready to play for when that shot clock is winding down, and make sure you can be able to execute some offense and be able to change defenses. And some teams press you into take 10 seconds off the shot clock, and when you get the ball across half court, then now you got to have something to do. You got to have something to play, something to call. So it's going to help everybody, players and coaches alone. So if you love this game and study your craft, then you got to sharpen your skills as a coach to be ready for this.
Yes, sir. So kind of to your point, Coach, I was of course looking at social media, whatever the case would be, and that was kind of the sentiments that was going across. And not to step on the toes or anything like that, but now you got guys saying, well, yeah, you can't run those football plays on the basketball court. Now,
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I saw that. I won't say the name, but I saw it.
Yeah. So Coach Terry, kind of give me what your thoughts are as far as the shot clock coming in.
Well, like Coach Sharman, Sharman said, Coach Garman said, it's like everybody said, it's going to come down to more situational basketball. I saw a lot of complaints about, there won't be any more stall ball, that type of thing, and that's understandable. But we got to catch up with the speed of the game. I mean, that's just how the game is being played right now. Me being new up here to the metro area. These kids up here are accustomed to playing with a shot clock. Now, the difficult thing is going to be for probably some of those South Georgia teams or kids that are not accustomed to it. But, like everything in life, man, we have to adapt, adjust, and overcome.
So is it fair to say that this shot clock coming in is going to potentially give kids more of an opportunity to be seen because now they're playing at a different pace and coaches are going to have to up their game? If anybody want to take that. Coach Terry, go ahead, Coach White.
I think what it does is it just creates a better brand of player. And I think it creates a better brand of basketball. Kids are going to get seen as they get seen because of, what they're doing on the floor. I don't want to say the shot clock is going to be the reason why kids is getting seen because, again, you still got to go out there and play the game. You still got to go out there and perform. And so I think what it does is just create a better brand of basketball. I think it's just going to make basketball that much better. It'll be more of a quick twitch thing. And, again, I think it puts the player in a position. Some people don't like to use the word develop, but it will help develop them as a player. It will help them. And it's on both sides of the ball, because if you talk about a situational deal where the clock is running down, it's the onus is just as much on the defense as it is on the offense. Just as the offense needs to score, the defense needs to stop them. And if they stop them, they're rewarded basically. So towards bad shots and things of that nature, it just makes the game more real. It makes it more realistic. And, realistic to me is not pulling the ball out and holding it, or if you want to sit in a zone, I got the choice to hold it out, and I just again, I've used those strategies, I've done those strategies, but that doesn't mean that I've been in favor of it. We'll do what we got to do to win games, but I don't think I've never been in favor of.
As far as exposure for kids, anyway, like you said, Coach White. If you can play, they're gonna find you. But also too, get as a coach, as coaches, we have to put those kids in positions anyway to get seen going to this. Try to get in tournaments and showcases and such things.
Right. Coach Harris, let me ask you this: based on that shot clock coming in, how much is your style of play going to change?
It won't change much. We like to run a little motion offense, but when that shot clock gets down, you have to be able to execute. So, you have to sharpen your skills on the offensive end and be able to execute. A lot of teams going to play some zone and may try to trap you. So, you have to be ready now. You have to scout your opponents. You got to know what they're doing. Like for stick, when I play Warner Robins, I know they're going to come with that matchup zone. So, going to trap me as soon as I cross half court. So, I got to be ready for that. Depending on where that shot clock is, and I can't have somebody out there dribbling the air out the ball and the shot clock is winding down. So, you got to make sure your kids are ready. So, from the college level, I work with a guy. He wanted to shoot the ball under 8 seconds. And then if you didn't get that shot under 8 seconds, then he went into a play. So, you can, you have to tweak some of that stuff, but depends on your personnel. If you got personnel to play fast and do those types of things, then you may have some success. But everybody's not going to be ready for the shot clock. Some guys don't like it, and some guys going to embrace it. Myself, I'm going to embrace it because, Sherman said it's a small percentage of guys that's going to play at the next level, and even so. But I think if it is, you still need to give those kids a chance to be prepared to go play at whatever level they get a chance to go play.
Sure. Coach Tapp, before I throw it to you, let me just ask Coach Garman that same question. How much do you see your style of play change with the shot clock?
I don't see it changing much. It just we're gonna be more focused, if you would say, on what we got going on, because those 30 seconds are valuable, and that basketball is valuable too, because we got to use that basketball to score. So we're gonna use it on both ends of the floor, like Coach said, man. Both ends of the floor, we're gonna have a shot clock. If we can some kind of way defend for a good 15, 20, 30 seconds and get a turnover, now we go down on the other end and execute. So it's just going to be us focusing in more and understanding that certain times on the shot clock is going to tell us that certain things got to be getting ready to get done. So it's going to be a new process for me too as well, because this is my first time in the shot clock. And I'm excited about it. It's another thing to be excited about, to go to practice about on each day. So it's going to be fun, man. It's going to be fun.
Yes, sir. Coach Sapp?
Well, I know, fellas, moving forward with the shot clock. What are some of the things that y'all are gonna try to implement to get accustomed to it? I know, Coach White, I know you normally have the shot clock league and stuff like that. So, I mean, what are y'all guys planning on doing to get accustomed to it?
I think the first thing, you got to get it. You got to get one. You got to get the shot clock. So, implement them in practice. And the more repetitions you get with it, kids will start learning how to think in those situations. But you got to get it first. And, that's why it's a 3-year phase in, but you're going to see a lot of schools going to try to jump on it right away, and we're setting up partnerships with some of those people that make them, that manufacture them, like Neff. I mean, not Neff, but Electronics and all those different companies. We're trying to set up where we can get the best possible deal. And so, because a lot of people are going to try to get them right away. I think Fulton County AD said today that he's going to buy them for all his schools. If he's got 15 schools, he's just going to go ahead and make a budget request and try to go ahead and get them. Because the sooner you get them, the better off. I mean, some people had questions about, since it's not going to be mandatory to year 3, why would you, play with them before then? Well, I think the whole deal with the phase-in was just give people a financial opportunity, because, everybody can't, get them right away, or can't, so you got 3 years to basically save up $3,000. That's about the maximum you'll end up paying. But, through some of the vendors and some of the deep discounts we'll be able to get, they'll probably be a lot cheaper than that. And so I think you just got to get them first, and then you just start implementing them in practice. Like, I've been fortunate at 2 schools I've been at, Miller Grove and Pace, they already had shot clocks. We practice with them even though we don't play with them, because I want to play a certain type of pace and a certain type of tempo. So in order to do that, you put that shot clock on, where they got it try to get a shot off and get, make a play because I want to play a little faster because that's where the game is. The game is a much faster game than it was, 10, 15 years ago. And you got so many good athletes and so much talent that you don't want to ball it up into where they got to, sit down and run a set every single play. You want them sometimes to just play. And, I think that, for us this past year, that was totally effective for us. We ran sets, but we were most effective when I let them just play. If you teach them how to play, though, you got to teach them how to play. Once you teach them how to play, you can let them play. And so I think you got to get the clocks first so you can kind of see how you want to implement it.
So coaches, we do got a question from the viewers. Actually, we got a few things out there. So Stan McCormick says, do you think the shot clock will force more coaches to focus on teaching fundamentals and work to improve the basketball players' IQ?
Well, I'll answer that. If they, as far as if the coaches aren't doing that already, they kind of already behind. I mean, just being honest about that. I mean, you should already be learning the fundamentals. You should already know, have a basketball IQ. Now, some players, of course, their IQs are not the same. So you're not going to put them in situations where they got to rely on their IQ. So the fundamentals and stuff and the basketball IQ stuff should be there already. The shot clock should only enhance that once it gets there. That's what I would think. But, I've never been on a shot clock, so I could be wrong too.
Well, I think the skill development part is going to be huge. Like Coach White mentioned, you coming down, it's going to force you at times. You can't come down and run a set. You're gonna have to have some kids that can get it done, that can get downhill and play. Most everybody going to 4 out, 1 in, or 5 outs, running some type of ball screen type, motion type offense. I mean, that's what the game is anyway, ball screen. So you got to have, from a skill standpoint, you got to have some kids that can know how to play off the ball screens, know how to react, know the rotations, know how to read the defense, find the open guys. So, like you said, Coach Garman, skill development, you should already been teaching that anyway.
Coach King, what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think that it will force coaches, for whatnot to get better at it because at the end of the day, it's limitation. So the coaches who actually did not play basketball whatnot, they never actually used the shot clock, but they have some work to do. It's gonna be some, but the ones who actually have with the shot clock, it'll be that they should be accustomed to it.
So we do have a more like a statement and a question. I think this one for you, Coach Smith. Kuwait Reed said Middle Georgia and South Georgia kids will be fine. Why would it be more difficult for them to adjust?
You say as far as South Georgia kids, I missed that question.
Yeah, so earlier you made a statement that it would be more difficult for South Georgia kids to adjust to the shot clock.
Right.
Kawasi wants to know. He says Middle Georgia and South Georgia kids will be fine. Why would it be more difficult for them to adjust than any other area?
Well, me personally speaking, I've been in South Georgia, for a long time, but pretty much most of my coaching career. And at that time, many South Georgia teams were playing in tournaments up in the metro area, and teams up in the metro area are pretty much more accustomed to playing with shot clocks because they play in tournaments with shot clock. Also, like Coach said, Millbrook, when Coach was over there, they still have it. They had summer league with shot clocks, fall league with shot clocks. And we typically didn't have that or don't have that in South Georgia. Now they might have it now. I don't know, but that's why I said. But I agree with Coach. I think the Middle Georgia kids be all right. Coach Garman bring Warren Robinson, to Atlanta all the time to play. So I think it's going to take more work for South Georgia to get accustomed to the shot clock than the middle of the metro area kids.
Yeah, and I kind of want to piggyback on that because, I understand where both guys are coming from. It's going to be a little change for us in Middle Georgia and South Georgia because I have never played in the game with a shot clock, even in summer league. So it's gonna be a big change for us. So I see where Coach Smith is coming from. What he said. Those guys up north, they got summer leagues going on. They got extra fall leagues with shot clocks and all that stuff. So yeah, it's gonna be a little different for us in Middle and South Georgia. But once we get it, we'll be there too.
Adapt, adjust, and overcome, baby.
That's it.
Right.
Well, with that being said, Coach, like you said, piggyback on the summer league. Are y'all anybody in this area plan on doing the summer league with the shot clock to get accustomed to it?
That's a good question.
That's a good question. I mean, if we're able to have some live contact, I mean, we might be able to practice a little bit, but right now, you can't even go 5-on-5 right now.
Yeah, I'm not so much. Right, not so much this year, but leading up to the start of the use of the shot clock, which is, years to come. I think it'll be good for us to get a shot clock league here in our area. To catch up and speed the process up of teaching these kids the way to play with it. At least I think so. I mean, y'all elaborate on that.
I got an idea for y'all. I think y'all get Marquez to buy y'all shot clocks. I'm serious, man. Get him to donate them shot clocks because y'all could be the premier because y'all got the gym space. I mean, you got everything. Y'all could be like the central, hub for people, trying to get acclimated to it, especially like in the fall or in the summer. I really do. I think y'all like that. Y'all in that school, you got the brand new gym. I mean, I think it's the perfect setup. I think and I'm just saying Marquez, but I think you guys should be the front runners in it. Because again, everybody's gonna have to have them in 3 years. And I don't think waiting 3 years is the best policy. I just don't. I think you go ahead and get it. That don't mean you got to play every game, with a shot clock, but that you got the access to them, so your kids are working on it, and I think the onus again is going to be on the coaches to make sure that they're adjusting and adapting, like Coach Smith said, and just going with it because everything changes. Like we didn't have a 3-point line. You know what I'm saying? And now we got 3-point line. So everything has to adapt. Everything has to change. It's not a bad omen that we're doing this. It's progressing the game, and so. Like somebody got to be the trailblazer, and just say, hey, we're going to get ours, and we're going to, start this thing up. And I don't know a better place right now than what y'all got. Y'all got that brand new crib.
Hey,
so man, if you plan on playing at Warner Robins, I'm going to definitely ask you, coach, right, whoever it is. I'm going to ask you right off the bat, man. Do you mind using the shot clock? Because I want to use the shot clock starting next year, man. You know what I'm saying? So. We already used the balls, like when those new basketball, $80 basketball just came on the scene. Everybody started using them. Everybody started using the first game.
And you didn't have to. And you didn't even have to.
You didn't even have to. So,
right.
We might as well get used to these shot clocks too.
So,
I want to use it.
So, Coach, do you think that shot clock is going to translate into AAU and live periods? And should AAU tournaments start using this to help adapt and adjust for this period?
Absolutely. I think absolutely.
Yes.
The more high schools that get them, the AAU, they host their events in the high schools. So if they hosting the events in the high school, it's just going to make sense for them to use the shot clock, since it, and I'm going to tell you what's going to happen too, the benefactor of this. It's going to be some events that's going to come to Atlanta or come to Georgia because of this, because they want to use the shot clocks in their events. And so they'll bring an event, like Nike might bring an event to Georgia now. I talked to our director today, and he said that opens y'all up for all kind of stuff. They might bring an event to Georgia just because we can use the shot clock
Oh, wow.
instead of taking it out to California or taking it to DC area. they'll bring that thing to Georgia, and so it's just it puts us. It's only 10 states, so it just puts us at a different level. And just think about a few years ago when we were trying to get into the Dix national tournament, they wouldn't let you go.
Right.
And Willard, they broke the ground for that, and it allowed us to go a year. And so everything again, it's just progressing the game, man. As much as this is a football state, we know we still got to try to make the most progressions we can for basketball.
Coach White, don't say that too loud.
It's a football state.
He can say that. He got the credentials.
It's a football state. It's all good. It's all good. As long as they give us our little, throw us some crumbs. Just throw us our crumbs.
Hey, wait. Well, why you saying about throwing the crumbs? Next time you talk to your boss at night, they want to bring some events. Middle Creek High School gym is right off of 85, so it's easy access.
Get them shot clock.
I already put in. Well, we ain't with that kind of. Jesse go probably get the AE to buy everybody shot clocks anyway. So.
Yeah.
Hey, so let me ask this. In the coaching community, right? So I'm gonna give you guys an opportunity to just kind of speak on with the shot clock. And Coach White, you may have the most experience with this by dealing with it or whatever the case may be. But what's gonna be the biggest adjustment, right? So we know the speed and all of those things, but for those coaches out there that haven't seen it or been around it, what is gonna be the kind of the biggest thing that they got to pay attention to when installing plays or sets or whatever the case may be?
I'm gonna be honest about this. I've hosted shot clock leagues at Miller Grove, at Pace. I've played in shot clock games. It's the amount of times the shot clock comes into play as far as it goes off and you get a shot clock violation. It's probably about maybe once a game, twice a game. It does not see, and that's I think you got to get through the middle part of it, right? Because a lot of teams play fast already. They're putting shots up before 30 seconds.
Yeah.
So I think the middle part of it is what everybody got to get past, especially those schools that they were against it or that they don't think that it's progressive. It's not helping the game or whatever. They got to get past that middle part because you already playing at a rate where you probably are getting shots off before 30 seconds. Right. Mm-hmm. Not saying everybody is, but I think it's that middle part that they got to get. Now, you do got to start putting in, when I coach with USA Basketball, we play with a 24-second clock with U16, U17s. And we have to have plays for in the clock plays. So if it gets to 10, we start calling goal. That means that, okay, we're going to go 4 down and, spread it out and let the guy, try to make a play off the dribble because that's what happens. I see you, Coach G. But I'm just saying, you got to have in the clock plays, and that adds to your repertoire of what you teaching those guys how to play at the end of the clock. And early offense is important too because you're trying to get an early shot. So in case if you don't get, you got another crack at it. And again, at the end of games, it's so important because you can't just hold the ball.
Right.
And you can stretch the game out. You can foul and put guys at the line, and that's how I got acclimated to the shot clock. We was out in California in a tournament. We were down by 7 with a minute and 45 left, and we were sitting there saying we still in the game. We hit a couple threes, and now we back in the game, and we still got time, and they got to shoot again because we got 45 seconds left. Then we get the ball back, we win the game, and I'm sold on the shot clock. To have an ability, because in Georgia, a minute 45, you down by 7, man, you can go ahead and put that up.
That's ball game. 80 goal, baby.
Yeah, I know. I went through that one time against you, Jamal, and shit. I wound up losing that game.
Anybody else got any thoughts on that?
With the shot clock, you're never out of a game. I mean, you can be down 20 in the first half or in the second half because the team has to shoot the basketball. Your defense got to be solid, but like Sherman said, you're never going to be out of a basketball game with the shot clock, and that's one of the good things about it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Coach Charles, look like we got another question out there.
Yeah, we got a question from Stan McCormick. With the implementation of the shot clock, guard play may be the most important factor. How does that change the way you conduct practice? Will you focus more on guard drills, or will you remain the same?
I answer that question. An old coach told me a long time ago, guards win ball games, bigs get you fired. So that should answer the question right there.
Yep.
I'll go a step further and say guards win championships.
Yeah.
They damn sure do.
Championships with guards.
They damn sure do.
Yeah.
They sure do.
Right. Well, I mean, they gonna
If you got two good ones, you got yourself something.
Mhm.
even now. I mean, guards gonna have the ball in their hand 99% of the time anyway. So it really, it really shouldn't change anyway. Now, again, it goes back to skill development. Now, you got that kid that can really go, and the shot clock is running down. You got to have a guard that can make some plays and make some reads.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
I was about to say, it teaches you how to play with pace and space. You got to teach them how to play in space, and you got to teach them how to play because again, that clock running down, they need space and they need to be able to make a play. So it just teaches, like we talking about the guards, we still got to have the other 3 or 4 guys on the floor knowing how to space themselves out, and so that guy when he makes a play, he might be driving, he might be kicking, and that guy, so it's just a lot to it to where. The guards gotta. You want to make sure you're on top of them, but you got to teach those other guys about space and how to be able to play in space.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
And how to finish.
yeah. So
Right.
I was on a call with a head coach from Auburn. He did a little webinar, and he said this is his exact words: the first 20 seconds is the players, the last 10 seconds is mine. I was like, oh, okay. So
I can see that.
yeah.
I can see that. I can see that.
Yeah.
Right.
So now with that shot clock coming in, right? How's that going to trickle down to the rest of your program? So your JV team, freshman team, or whatever the case would be, as far as getting them prepared, so once they get to that varsity level, it's already there for them. So are we thinking that we may put some of those JV teams against the shot clock at some point to get them sped up and learning how to play faster, so that transition isn't as big now?
Again, you come to Warner Robins High School GM, you might have during 9th grade game with the shot clock. We're gonna try to use it as much as possible. I don't want those guys to get to the varsity level and now they got to get used to a shot clock. They need to be getting used to that day one when they walk into the gym. So you'll be expecting those questions when you get ready to play Warner Robins. I'm gonna use it early.
Absolutely.
Well, it goes back to what you said, Coach White. First of all, got to get those shot clocks in, and then second of all, how you conduct practice, or are you you having everybody practicing together? You having just the varsity guys and JV guys in 9th grade practicing? In my case, here we're gonna be varsity together and probably JV and 9th grade together, but we will both. Practice with a shot clock to get those young kids ready.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, we're gonna it's a couple non-regions games that we have, and I talked to the coach of one of the games we're gonna play, and we playing our JVs and then our varsities, and we're like, we're gonna play the JVs with the shot clock. We both agreed to it. Like let's play the JVs, so that you can start that process. Because again. Just think, your 7th and 8th graders right now, when they start high school, they're going to be playing with a shot clock mandatory.
Yeah, mandatory.
It's not going to be like, okay, well, they get it, we'll work them in. No, they're going to come off, get off the bus, they got to play on the shot clock.
Right.
So, it just, you got to get them ready.
But and also too, man, most every kid is playing some type of AAU, anyway. Again, AAU they gonna start using shot clocks too. So I mean, they can be, those young kids can also benefit from that too. Leading up to coming back to us.
Yeah, right.
So Coach Garman, I think this question was meant for you, from Kawasi.
okay.
His question is shot. He says shot clock for Hype South Hardwood Invitational.
Yeah. I'm with you, Quasi. I'm with you. They got to be the leaders. They got to do it.
You played at One Arms High School in a game at One Arms High School. That shot clock will be ticking down, man. So, yes, we will definitely have it going on in that tournament right there. In the invitation, man. It's a great thing too.
Coach Garman,
Yes, sir.
I'm coming down one route at the shot clock. Hey, my team has you got to put us up in a hotel. You got to feed us three meals. Hey, you got to feed us 3 meals a day.
That's all you gonna get. That's all you gonna get.
That's it.
You get that game, you ain't getting
I know, right?
If I walk in the gym, it's 25
You ain't getting that.
Hey, Coach, with us having this podcast, Rich strictly driven on the AAU for the AAU circuit, and like you say for other coaches, what type of relationship do y'all have with y'all kids that split teams on the AAU circuit? Do y'all encourage them to stay together? Do y'all encourage them to you don't mind them playing? And what kind of relationship do you have with their coaches?
You want me to go?
Yeah, go ahead.
Anybody?
I mean, it's so hard to do that in Atlanta. It's so hard to do that. Like, there's so many different AAU programs, man. So, and, these kids, they want to be able to spread their wings. Like, you got kids, they love playing with each other. But, if I play with this cat, in the regular season, and I got to go play with AAU, I'm still going to be the second guy or the third guy. I want to go spread my wings. So it's hard to keep them all together in that type of format, especially when there's so many teams and so many.
Yeah.
And so I don't try to advocate that or anything. I'm glad to be able to go watch them play. I like to see them play against each other a lot of times. Like I think that promotes some type of camaraderie too because they're competing against each other. And so I'm for them playing different. And the thing about it is. I think this is the thing with AAU, and I'll say this, and I don't have no kind of qualms about it. I think AAU is a great vehicle for these players because I can't put 75 coaches on the sideline watching you at one time like an AAU game can.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I just think just like it's bad high school coaches, it's some bad stuff in AAU. It's bad in everything. It's not like it's just you can't say the AAU stuff is bad because it's bad high school stuff. So with anything, it's some good and some bad, but I think the vehicle and the purpose of it is great. I think it's a great tool. I just think it has to, the whole thing is you just wanted to make sure that the kids are getting a good opportunity to be seen because that's what it's about. It's strictly that's what it's about. It's not about who won the tournament at the end of the day. I hate to say that, but it's not about who won
It's not.
It's about who played well. And at the end of the day, that's what it comes down to. So, I think sometimes you get a bad rap, and rightfully so in some instances. But some high school stuff is trash too, man, and it gets so it goes beyond saying. It just you have to kind of take it, like with a grain of salt, and just hope that your kids get in a good situation where they get a chance to show what they can do and go from there. Yeah.
Anybody else want to speak on that? Want to speak on that?
Well, you want your kids to be within a good program. That way, if they're in a good program, you feel good that they're gonna learn something, they're gonna compete, and they're gonna take on the things that you've already instilled in them. But if they're just with one of those moms and pop programs and just going to play somewhere every weekend and not getting better, then you got to rebuild them all over again from the basics because they're gonna pick up a lot of bad habits. So. I started out in AAU years ago, but it's that when I started out, you had to actually qualify to go to nationals, and we had a tough time beating Team Georgia. So, but now you got 1,000 AAU teams. So if your kid get caught up on a bad AAU team that don't put no emphasis on nothing, but we're gonna go play this weekend, and you ain't working on no skill development, and you ain't trying to get better, you're going to be in some trouble there.
early.
Yeah.
So with that being, speaking to some of the young viewers that are probably looking at this podcast, what are some of the things that you guys think that they can develop mentality wise, to get better and to coming to the high school level?
My one thing that I would probably, say to them to push yourself, man. Every single day that you're in the gym or outside working or whatever it is you're doing, push yourself to the max every single day. Don't take any time off. I know it's easy for us coaches to say because we're in a position where, we some big boy. I'm a big healthy joker. I'm 250 now. See, that ain't good. So me going out there running up and down and pushing myself to the max, I can't do that right now. Not like you can as a 16, 17-year-old. So when you get those opportunities to push yourself to the max on every single rep, you need to do that because it's going to come a day where you're going to, hopefully God bless you to reach an age of 30, 40 years old, and you're going to look back on those days when coach would open the gym, and then you would just go in there and shoot half-court shots. And then you wouldn't take it serious. And then you would go home and think that you really worked out and you really hadn't done anything. So my advice would be to the younger guys that are coming right into it or to the older guys that are getting ready to leave too. Take advantage of these opportunities because once you graduate and be a senior, it's not guaranteed to play on that next level. I would just say take advantage of all these opportunities you get to be in the gym, to be in front of college coaches to play. Got some great AAU programs around the Middle Georgia area that get these guys involved in front of coaches. So just be prepared, man. Look at opportunity.
So Coach, go ahead. I'm sorry. Oh, okay. So
go out there and compete. Don't. I worked at Georgia State for 2 years, and I recruited Middle Georgia. And so I would just say compete because when I was out recruiting, I always looked for guys that play hard, that competed. Like what Coach Garman said, looking for those guys. That's you win with. At the end of the day, you can have guys with uber talent, but they don't play hard. They don't compete. If they see some competition, they ducking. And then you'll see that early on. If they doing that, it's hard to win with those guys.
Yeah.
Man, it's just extremely hard. And I think again, any of those guys, compete. I don't care if it's a drill. I don't care if it's try to win every time you get on the floor. No matter whether it's a drill, whether it's a shooting contest, whatever it is, because that you developing that mentality is not only going to help you in basketball, it's going to help you in life.
Yeah.
So I would just say compete. That'd be the biggest word I would say.
Like Corey Black always say, get 1% better every day in everything you do.
That's it.
So kids can't talk about loving the game of basketball if they don't do nothing with the ball every day.
Mm-hmm.
Some form of fashion, you got to become better. You got to become a student of the game. You got to know your craft. You just can't know today's players, Kevin Durant and Kyrie and LeBron. You need to know the whole enchilada. From Elvin Hayes and Calvin Murphy. That's your craft. If you're gonna play this game and you're gonna love it, you need to respect it and you need to study it. That's what those kids got to understand. It's their history. They need to know basketball history.
Absolutely. So Coach White, you've been super successful in your career. So could you kind of speak to if you were going over to take over a new program, what does that preparation look like? How does that startup look like for you? What does that look like for you?
When starting a new program, I've done that I guess 3 times now, being at 3 different high schools, what have you. But I think you evaluate yourself. Like what I did is I always say, all right, what do I want to get accomplished in the first 50 days? And that gives me some kind of like barrier where I need to be, after 50 days, what that means, meeting with my players, meeting with my parents, getting to know those 2 intangibles right off the bat, meeting with my administrators, knowing what kind of support I really have, because they'll tell you a lot of good stuff in the interview, but you really need to find out what it is they really support you on, because that's a very important part of it. I think some people be so ready to get the job and they lose out on that part. But get your organization together. Know what exactly you want to do. The administrative part of coaching is probably one of the biggest part of coaching that people don't understand.
Yes.
The more organized you are, the more administratively aligned you are, the success is going to probably be right around the corner because your kids are going to understand what it is that you're trying to get accomplished, and they're going to buy into that. Kids don't buy into mess. They buy in when they see visions and they see, you trying to go out and make that vision come to pass, they buy into that. And I always say this, as a head coach, you got to be the hardest worker in the program. The kids might be out there doing sides and sprints, but they got to see you grinding in that program, And that don't mean you out there running with them. That just means every time you turn around, you working on something. You got something going. You telling them, hey, we got to do this. You got to sign up for SAT. You got, you always grind it. And I think those things kind of like that's what gets you started, and I think you really have to attack that. I speak all the time, when I go speak out like for USA or speak for Nike or something, I'm always asked about, speaking about building the program. And so, I kind of like cornered that to where, you have to be in a position where you got to be organized, you got to be administratively aligned, and, all that other stuff. The winning comes second. I tell people that all the time. The winning comes second. The winning is like it's a fruit of that labor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That'd be the first thing I would say.
Okay. Anybody else want to kind of expound on that a little bit from starting the program, from taking your first job, or whatever the case may be?
Hey, I'll just piggyback on a little what Coach White, because me and him have, we've talked about it just before. He sent me some stuff before too. But just to piggyback on what he said, I think the first thing is you got to take care of the business off the court business before you can take care of the on the court business. And again, just piggyback on what he said, getting to know your kids, building a relationship with your kids, building a relationship with their parents, and that administration staff. I mean, that's huge. That is huge. That can make or break you now in a hurry. Having a great administrative staff, you present your vision and the type of culture you want to have, and administrative staff buying into it. Then that's going to trickle down to those players buying into it, the parents buying into it, and then now you having a successful winning culture.
Mm-hmm.
So
I want to sneak a question in there as far as both mentioned the communication with the parents. Can you kind of just give us a outline of what that conversation or what that communication with the parents entails when you're either starting a program or when you're coming into a new year and you got new kids that's coming up and playing for you?
Well, I started off. One of the things I did when I was at Rome, we had a parent meeting, after school, around about 6 or 7, when most parents had got off of work, and had a PowerPoint presentation up there. Just basically went over, our 90-day plan, our discipline policy, what we expect from the kids, what we expect for the parents, our goals as a basketball program. And then once school started, I had individual meetings with parents. Because it's sometimes when you meet with parents, they don't want to ask a question in front of other parents. So we set up times. I mean, just like an interview. I had all their contact information, and I'm like, hey, Mr. or Mrs. Such and Such, what would be a good time you to come in? And they came to the school, had my desk and a little table so we can sit around and talk. And I think that one-on-one also helped, build a relationship with those parents. Now again, and I also mentioned to them now, hey, I'll talk to you about anything now, but we're not, really gonna talk about playing time. I don't come to your job, tell you how to do your job. So I expect the same respect, but I say it in a very, very nice way.
I think you gotta make sure that with your parents, you gotta be honest with them. You gotta be truthful with them. First and foremost, it might not always, be accepted right away, but at the end of the day, I think if you're honest with them, that's the best thing they can ask for. I think the other thing is, as a coach, you got to understand that they see their child, whereas you see a player.
Player, yep.
And you got to convince them of that. Like you can't just be focused on their child. And I'm pretty sure all of us are parents here, and so it's the same with us. And so you got to kind of have that same sentiment for them. And I think that's why you have to work for their buy-in. You really do have to work for their buy-in. It might not come overnight, but you got to work for their buy-in, because at the end of the day, you want Johnny to be the best player he can be. It's hard for him to be the best player he can be. As soon as he get in that car, Coach Garman don't know what he's doing. Or he just blew that, and I try to educate my parents in meetings. I say, hey, when they get in the car, first 5 minutes, don't let it be about the game.
Right.
Don't let it be about practice. Let it be about something totally different, and just try to, because sometimes they have to be educated on how to be a parent, and that don't mean they're going to always do it, but you're giving them some kind of way of being able to understand some of the things they can do that can make the whole thing, can assist in the whole process, because sometimes they just don't know, and they just thinking that hey, I'm gonna treat this just like I do, with him not taking out the trash or whatever. It's totally different. Kids got a lot of pressure on them, when they trying to play, and you got dreams of playing at the next level, or they know the only way they're gonna get to college is they got to get a scholarship. That's pressure, and so trying to teach the parents how to navigate through that sometimes is part of your job as a coach.
Yeah.
Anybody else got anything on that? Any comments to add on that piece?
I mean, speaking of the pressure, as far as the kids are already under pressure, a lot of us teach. A lot of us have predominantly black kids that we kind of coach, so they're already automatically getting out of bed with pressure on them already to do whatever it is that they have to go through their normal day. So when it comes to the basketball thing should be a place for them to be able to escape all the things that they have to go through a normal day. And if we already put pressure on them to hurry up and get that scholarship, or hurry up, you got to go score 20 points this game, we put pressure on them that they really don't need, instead of just letting them grow into who they're going to be, and just becoming the best person that they can possibly be. And as far as building those trust relationships with those parents, man, you got to be truthful with them. That's the number one thing. You got to be truthful with them, man. I know everybody thinks their child is, it's their child. So yeah, my child is the best at everything that ever been made. So just be truthful about them. I like it as far as what we got going on Warner Robins, because we don't have all the glamour kids, all the big time Division I, Duke, USC kind of guys. So we got those guys that we kind of, hey, Division II basketball, little NAIA, D3 basketball, that's gonna fit you now. What you're gonna do is you're gonna go there, you're gonna end up earning a degree, and you're gonna be able to come out. You're gonna be a successful young person because you have learned how to be, being patient with what you got going on. So being truthful in those situations to our parents is, I guess, a great thing that we have here. And as far as what you're talking about with administration and all those guys too, I really appreciate both sets of administration that I have. I teach at the middle school, I coach at the high school, and both sets of principals, they're great. And like I said, man, if they were buttholes about the situation, they didn't really like basketball at all, a lot of the success that we had at Warner Robins wouldn't be done. But those guys they're awesome with what they got going on, and they let us do what we got to do. So, just being truthful, man, being truthful about everything.
So, Coach Garman, you kind of alluded to it, and so my next question would be, as far as I know, Coach Charles asked about starting a program, but I'm gonna ask specifically about building a culture.
Mm-hmm.
Right? How are you building the culture of basketball with your players? So those personal relationships, understanding their background, bringing them in, helping them, seeing that it's more than just, getting this W tonight or averaging this certain amount of points, but helping them mature as young people. What are some of the things you guys do as far as establishing that culture with your players?
I want to hear from TK, man. I want to hear from Coach.
Well, first thing, like you said, man, you got to build those relationships or whatnot. And, once you get that relationship built with the kid, you can actually steer, in the right direction or whatnot as far as, with your culture. When you lay out your expectations, for the kids or whatnot, they will actually, buy in if you actually have it, crystal clear or whatnot. So, I'm big on the relationships and big on those expectations. And, that's how I try to mold my kids, trying to be, positive role models or whatnot. And, just keep, driving that hammer, keep driving that nail, man, trying to get them where they need to be. Because, at that age, they really don't see the bigger picture. But, as a coach, you have that bigger picture, that roadmap for them, trying to make them successful or whatnot.
Yes, sir.
At the end of the day, what I'm saying, I tell them, man, I'm raising men, not raising little boys. So, you got to get with the program and whatnot. So, relationship factor, man. I'm big on that.
Yes, sir.
Anybody else want to speak on that?
Accountability. I think you got to hold these kids accountable. From your best player to number 15. If they screw up, you got to hold them accountable. That's the only way that's the only way basketball. If we get messed up and still get the reward the ball, then we're not helping. We're failing. So I've been in situations where, and when I was at Ball, when I had a couple kids leave school early and we were ready to go play a region game, well, you're not playing. Next minute up. So, I always try to stress to my kids, I want high character kids. High character, low maintenance. I don't want, if I got to worry about you once you get my programs, then I got the wrong kid in my program.
Yes, sir.
I'll say, we talked about building relationships, but this has been the philosophy I've used, and it's worked for me no matter where I was. I've been in, situations like Garman where it was, it was rough surroundings, and but you gotta love them first, because if you can love them hard, you can coach them hard. And they'll understand what that means. You know what I mean? So they got to see the love first, and then so when you go on one of them beelines on them, they know it's not personal. You must I must then do something right. And so I think you got to love them hard, in order to coach them hard. And so that's something I've been able to do, and it's genuine, because if they see that you really care about them, you become that surrogate parent almost, just like a parent. When they get on you, they've already shown you love. So when they get on you, you almost don't want to disappoint them. So, and that's how your players end up being. And sometimes I tell players, okay, you messed up, because they don't want to disappoint you.
Right.
But you got to walk them off that cliff a little bit, come back off that cliff a little bit. But that's okay. I'd rather be doing that than trying to get their approval or get their, to win them over. But I would always tell coaches, you love them hard, you can coach them hard.
That's right.
So we got another question from the viewer, but before we get to that, I do want to ask you guys about scheduling, right? So scheduling during the season, how do you go about coming up with your schedule as far as what's going to challenge you to be able or be ready for the playoffs?
We try to play as tough a schedule as possible during the regular season. No, we don't want to lose games, but we end up losing games in the regular season to a better team. Then we'll be ready when the state playoff season roll around. So, no, we don't like to schedule cupcakes, so to speak, cupcake games, because it's not going to prepare us for the state playoffs. And we always want to be prepared for that moment right there, because you're playing these games to eventually be a state champion. I hope you're not just playing these games to just get a check, because some of the checks ain't that big. Some of them ain't that big. Some of them pretty big, but some of them ain't matching up to what's going on. But we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, It's actually my first time actually scheduling the games without that power ranking and whatnot. With that power ranking for Class A, you had to play tough, top-notch opponents or whatnot, because if you play cupcakes, at the end of the day, your power ranking wouldn't be as high, and you might not get in. But since the power ranking is actually out now, we're still playing those top-flight opponents. Trying to get the kids ready for their region schedule and their region playoffs and also state playoffs and whatnot. So, I'm big on playing, tough schedule, because in the end, it actually pays off for you.
Yeah, I think it needs to be it depends on your team, the personnel that you will have for the upcoming year. I think you need to have a good balance. If you got a young team, and I'm just speaking, here in basically my situation here in Meadow Creek, you jump out there playing against Sherman White and Pace Academy, your first game with some 10th graders and some 11th graders that haven't had any varsity experience. Now that's a possibility where you can shatter their confidence.
Sean gonna put about 145 on your head.
And then gonna shake my hand in the game.
Shake your hand with a hug and everything.
Yeah. Right, but I don't for using that phrase cupcakes. No, I don't think you should have those cupcakes. And then, you 18, 19, wins, and everybody confidence up high. Then here you go, first round of state playoffs. You're number one seed. You get your butt beat by a 4 seed or something like that. So I think you need to have you got to have a balance, and then you got to know the personnel and team that you're going to have for that coming year. When it comes into the schedule.
I'll say this about scheduling, man. I think it's a balance. I really do.
Yeah.
I've had years where I scheduled way too hard, seriously, and it like to put us in a bad spot mentally. I can remember 2011, 2012 season. We were ranked number 2 in the country. That's when Tony Parker then was a senior, and we had like 7 Division I guys, and we were good, but we played City of Palms, we played Hoop Hall, we played Bass Pro, we played, we were everywhere. We played Oak Hill on ESPN up at Morehouse. We had like 3 ESPN games, and we were losing a lot of those games. We were right there, but when I look back on it, I think I scheduled too hard. You know what I mean? And I think you got to find a balance. You don't want to overschedule. And right. I've learned that. Like last year, I thought we had a really good, challenging schedule. And it wasn't a cupcake schedule, but it wasn't like, it wasn't like one of those schedules that every game you got to be like up against it, trying to figure out how. Because again, you lose those games, you might lose your kids and your team, and so you have to be really, really careful. Scheduling is a finicky thing, man. I don't take it lightly at all. I try to really sit down and make sure. I look at the days. I look at, okay, is this a back to back? Is it, I think you got to look at all that stuff, because like you say, I think Smith said it, you got to know your team. Are they mentally strong to be able to go and compete, in this big high profile event where the gym is going to be packed to the rafters? Can I take them down to South Georgia and play an event just so that they can get used to that in case we got to go see that in the tournament? I think that's what happened when we came down to y'all play. We had not been in an environment like that all season long in 2015. We played in some stuff, but we had not been in an environment like that where basically 90% of the crowd was against us. So like that. It just didn't. You gotta really, really like take that scheduling seriously.
Yeah. You almost gotta have to start scheduling around the spring, summertime. Trying to get that schedule set up for the next year, because it'll probably be a lot of changes. A few changes in the fall, but you want to try to get the foundation, the basis of that schedule done around springtime, leading to that next year.
Coach Charles, you want to read that viewer question?
Yeah, so we got a question from Kawasi Reeves. What are your thoughts on the potential of the COVID-19 potentially affecting high school sports this season? have you all been pre-planning strategies and ideas to deal with it just in case?
But we'll find out, probably this week or next week how football went. How football goes is basically how the rest of the sports.
They playing up. Yeah. No, I hadn't really planned on it, man, because it seems like every day something changing. So I mean, yeah, we got our schedule made out. We plan to have a season, but if they come out and say we can't play, then the next step is figuring out how we can get our seniors. You know what I'm saying? An opportunity, the good seniors that are available to go play college basketball. How are we gonna be able to get those guys in front of people? You know what I'm saying? Get an opportunity to go to that next level. So yeah, it's a finicky thing right now. Just playing it by ear, man, every single day, paying attention to what DHS they have to say, what we can and can't do. So I mean, I hope it doesn't cancel. I hope it doesn't cancel our season though.
Yeah. I think you just have to prepare and hope for the best. I don't think you can, because there's so much unknown, man. The NBA even having, now that they done said they're coming back, now they got cracks in their stuff.
Yep.
And so it's like and if they ain't doing it at that level, I mean, they canceled the NCAA tournament, y'all.
That's $5
$1 billion. That's $1 billion event. Not $1 million, $1 billion event.
Hey, in the A at that, and I had tickets that thing pissed me off.
So, I mean, baseball. I mean, everybody. I mean, it's they're gonna try this thing, but all it's gonna take is for one kid or one player to get it, and then they got to go back and basically shut it down and see the thing that we're concerned about. Let's just say, okay, I'm at a private school, and let's say we're not bounded by a county or a school system, so we can kind of do whatever we decide we can do it. But that won't mean nothing if Warner Robins can't play because they superintendent say no, they can't play. That don't help them.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So we got to have everybody being able to play. So it's a different animal, man. It really is.
So, well, I'll follow up with a question. It's kind of off topic of this. So, and Coach Smith, you might be able to kind of answer this one, being that you taking over a new program. So what are some of the things? And I kind of seen Coach Garman, assistant coaches in action. Man, them boys get it done. So what are some of the things you're looking for in your assistant coaches when you got to hire a crew like that?
Number one is trust. I got to be able to trust those guys that, if I'm not able to be to practice for a certain time because I got to do some other type of stuff for administration stuff, I got to be able to trust those guys. Number two, to buy into the program, what we're trying to do, offensively, defensively, and they buy into what we're trying to do. Three, loyalty. Just be loyal to me. The rest of the stuff will take care of stuff, but those three things I think really important to me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anybody else?
I think all those things that he said are that's it. I mean, but the only thing I would add to it is I like to have guys that are trying to be head coaches.
Yeah.
I really do. I like to have guys that want to be head coaches because those guys they're gonna be willing to grind because it's a certain. And I think part of my responsibility as a head coach is to try to put them on a path to become a head coach. It does me no good to have an assistant, that's not striving to be a head coach. It don't. I don't think it's good for my mentality in my vision for the program. Because I want everybody to grow, and I can find another. I'm always going to be grooming the next assistant coach anyway, and so I think having guys that want to be a head coach at some point will benefit the program even more. And you got to trust them. You got to be able to put them in situations like we divvy out our scouts. Like we got 25 games, everybody going to take a certain number of games, and that's their scout. And so they're going to present that scout during film, and they're going to take the lead on practice pretty much as far as, telling us what we need to be preparing for. They're going to run the scout team and those type of things. So you're preparing them how to get ready. And, again, it's about getting them ready for that next point because you not only try to get your players ready, you want to get the coaches in a point where you're grooming them too. It's only fair to them, I think.
Right.
I agree.
Coach Garman, you want to kind of talk on like Coach Charles said, we get a bird's eye view of how Coach Tat and the other coaches, Coach Buddy, how they're engaged and helping in the game. Is there kind of what's that conversation like when they come on?
First thing, man, you gotta love Warner Robins High School. That's my school. That's my high school I went to. I'm not in a situation like everybody else at different schools that they probably did not go to high school at. But I'm in a unique situation right now, man. That you gotta love Warner Robins High School first of all, because we're gonna pour ourselves into these kids, and they got to see our best. Of course, they're gonna see us make mistakes, and they need to see how we react after we make those mistakes too as well, because they're gonna grow up to be men as well. So the loyalty, I ain't got to talk about the loyalty because this coaching staff has been with me. I've only changed coaches, 2 different coaches, and so those were 9th grade coaches. So loyalty is big. You definitely got to be able to talk to each other. We step on each other's toes. We want to step on each other's toes, man, because that makes our relationship that much better. Because I understand that, hey, I don't want any yes men around me.
Facts.
I don't make enough money to have yes men around me. So we need guys around us that got the same goal in mind. We want to win, but we also want to have kids that grow up to be successful. They graduate from high school. They end up being the fathers of their families, leaders in their households and whatnot. That kind of stuff makes us. That kind of stuff that drives us. So those things are important to us, man. Just having that loyalty and the love for Warner Robins High School.
Coach Buck.
Well, I got to be honest with you guys. When I came from college and first got into high school, I had some guys working with me were good guys, but they weren't very knowledgeable. They were good guys and they were good at what they did, which was keep the stats and stuff like that. But me personally, at that point, I just thought that I needed to do if I wanted something done and done right, the way I wanted it done, I needed to do it myself. But as the years went on, I've learned to delegate a little bit more, and I think this year I got lucky because I got a guy who was a former girls' high school basketball coach, and I got him on my staff, and I completely trust him with everything that we're doing. I can go to the office and get on the phone or make a call or whatever, and when I come back out, I don't have to worry about guys goofing off and doing something they ain't got no business doing because he's got them attentive, he's got them locked in, and he's teaching them. But early on, when I got to high school, I don't know if it was a trust issue or I was just gung ho and trying to make sure these guys were learning and trying to prepare them or whatever. But you want guys on your staff that want to be head coaches, and you want guys that share the same passion you share. My first job in 1994, I'm telling my age right now, God told me, my head coach said, if you want to stay in this business, you got to be loyal.
Mm-hmm.
I got that. And I've been blessed, man, to have some guys work with me and work for me that's been real loyal. So you guys touched on everything, but, you definitely need to delegate authority and prepare those guys to become head coaches.
Coach King, what you got?
Yeah, loyalty, trust, and also your assistants have to have that high character. Also, you got to be able to run the program if you're not there. If you have to be out, or whatnot. They have to, just step in and be able to lead, and get the points across that you actually need to get across to kids and whatnot. So, Unfortunately, I'm actually losing 2 coaches. I got to actually replace 2 because they actually took promotions or whatnot. So I got to go to the next one. But it'll be no problem because I got a couple of loyal guys bringing in and whatnot, high character guys also. So I think it'll work out for itself. But it got to be trustworthy.
Yes, sir. Definitely.
I think back on what Coach Garman said too, man. You mentioned something about you and your coaches disagree sometimes, but I think that's huge, man. You sometimes you have to disagree to agree.
Yes, sir.
And that keeps everybody on the coach staff. Everybody's on your toes. As you say, Coach White, iron sharp as iron, man. And piggyback on what Coach Harris said. Coach Harris said about I used to be like that too. I used to think, man, I had to do all of it. I had a system, but I had to do all of it. Man, that takes a toll on you. I mean, you gotta delegate to those guys. Even like say when I was at Rome, had a guy that did defense, a guy that did offense. But come game time, I pretty much ran the offense stuff. I mean that's just my baby, that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But again, man, I'm like Coach White said, man, you got to have some guys there that's have that aspiration, to be a head coach. Again, because they gonna grind. Now, I mean, you still gonna have some guys that don't want to be a head coach, man. They just want to be the best assistant that they can be for you, and
Right.
and that's great. That's great. I don't have any problem with that either.
None at all, man. None at all.
So we'll move on. We do have a question from the viewer, and I think this for Coach White and Coach Garman. February, they got the date. So February 26, 2015. Veterans High School, Warner Robins versus Phillip Rowe.
Reception going out. I can't hear y'all. Reception going out.
So they want y'all to talk about the feeling when y'all came out the locker room to the end.
Well,
I'll go first, man. It all started, we weren't even playing that game at Warner Robins. That's the crazy part. And so we coming down on the bus, man, and we literally see people lined up like around the building, and we sit there, and my kids on the bus, they're like, man. And so we stayed in the locker room, the whole time. We didn't come out until we got ready to come out, and then when we came out, it was bonkers in there, man. I mean, they had the chirp session in that first row, and they were chirping, boy. Oh my God, it was an incredible atmosphere, seriously, and I'll say, man, I tip my hat off to them. They made big plays and big moments. And Marquez was just unreal with his, I think he went like 19 for 19 or something, 21 for 21 on the free throw line. I mean, he was determined. And see, we had, the backstory to it was, we beat him in the state championship the year before. And I remember him when he was playing that game. I think everybody on the team was, wanted to win from one round, but he took that personal. Like, he was like out there, like, even when they were down, because we had them down, by a good little bit, but he was out there still just competing. And so you almost as a coach, like, I don't want to see him. when we drew them and we had lost the coin flip, it was like it was a bad omen. And you almost know it. And the thing about it was a great game. It just didn't go our way. I thought they did a great job, and I think it put them in a whole different level for a program after that game.
Right. It really did, man. Like you said, it really started just when you kicked our butt. I think it was about 27 points. Yeah, it was 27 points in the state championship game. But y'all really had a great team already. But then with the death of that kid, I think he was a freshman or something. He was supposed to be like the next big stud that was coming up for y'all. I think he passed or something that summer.
Yeah, Terrell.
And man, boy, to see how your kids reacted after winning that championship, I was mad about losing, but then I knew too that it was a bigger picture for your kids at that time. Just for us at Warner Robins High School being on that stage in a state championship basketball game, man, they don't do that at Warner Robins. And for us to be in that game, playing against you all, a powerhouse program in the nation, not just the state of Georgia. We ain't talking about just no state of Georgia down in the South. We're talking about the nation, man. It's one of the top programs in the nation. And to be in that spot to play against those guys was something, it was definitely a blessing, man. To have a second crack at them. I mean, that whole week, man, after we won that game, whoever it was, we played before them. From that night after that game was over, all the way up until game day, it was straight Miller Grove. We want Miller Grove. We concentrate on Miller Grove. Nothing else really matters right now. If you ain't focused on that, don't bring it but to practice. Don't even come to school. This is serious right here, man. This is serious. And it really embarrassed us. And, all eyes were on us. Everybody at the state championship game, when we played y'all that first time. The odds were on us. When we come out the locker room, the whole Macon Centralplex is all black. And we had black on, so it was just something great to be a part of. And then that game at Veterans, like you said, man, that gym right there, I'm gonna say this too. That gym right there will never see that crowd like that again. I don't care who they bring out. They'll never see that crowd.
They was hanging off the rafters, man. They were everywhere, man. I was like, golly.
Man, the game started at 6, and people was outside at 4:30, man, lined up.
Yeah, I know. I was one of them. I was at that game.
Oh yeah. So yeah, man, that was big for our program. And like you said, man, I thank you for calling us out, calling this county out as far as not having the facility to be able to host these tournament games like this. I appreciate you for doing that because now we have reaped the benefits of getting new gyms here in this area, and now we can, like you say, host some events around here. So all that stuff was something that snowballed to something even bigger, and we want to just keep going. But I appreciate everything that you were able to do for our program, kicking our butt, making me a better coach. I mean, I don't like to get embarrassed. I really don't. I don't like to get embarrassed, and I got really embarrassed that game. So from that night on, I mean, you can look at the state championship picture that we took after we lost to y'all. Everybody's face in there was, man, bring it back, man. Play the game again, man. You want to play it right now. Let's go. So, just having those things right there, man,
Hey, you got to tell them about the history. It kept going. Y'all beat Miller Grove in the state championship game. So the history was Miller Grove and Warner Robins is just like crazy.
It's a crazy history, man. It's crazy.
It's a crazy history, man.
Right. To be able to have our name, Warner Robins High School, being mentioned among Miller Grove, man. That's like people say, it's a football state. This is a football county down here in Warner Robins, Georgia. And to have our names mentioned with the Miller Grove, come on, man. These jokers won 7 state championships, man. Come on, man. It doesn't get any better than that. And so to have our names mentioned with that, man, it's a blessing, man. It's a blessing. It only makes us work harder too, because now that target is lime green now. It ain't just green no more, lime.
Well, hey, fellas, we're gonna get ready to wrap the show, man. I just want to again thank you all for being part of this podcast, sharing your story, sharing your knowledge with us. Before we go, does anybody got anything they want to plug? Anything going on that we need to know about, or any advice, last little minute tidbits you wanna leave with the viewers?
Get those shot clocks.
Oh yeah, Demon. Well, we bought out. We already got ours, but we ready to go. I'm telling you, Coach White. I thank you, man. I thank you for all that stuff, boy. We got shot clocks now, so man, it's a blessing, man. To all y'all coaches on here too, man. I appreciate everything that y'all do for y'all community. Putting kids out there, showing kids that we can be very productive as Black men in our society. I really do appreciate everything that y'all do. And when Tat asked me about, saying, let's have a coaches roundtable, y'all were some of the guys that came right to the top of my head right off. So to have y'all actually accept the invitation and to get on here and drop some of y'all's knowledge too, it's definitely a blessing, man. I appreciate it because I'm listening, I'm writing stuff down in mental Rolodex, because I got to be prepared. I'm gonna see you guys. I see TK in the summer. Yeah, TK play out every summer. But we're gonna ram heads next year a couple times. Coach Smith, we played in the past too. And Coach White as well. So I mean, it's just.
I ain't messing with y'all. I'm done with y'all. I ain't messing with y'all.
We're gonna come up there, man. We're gonna come up the road. We'll come up there, man. We'll come up there. Just do like Smith say, put me in a room, feed me 3 times, and
Coach White, man. That's it. Looked like a good matchup in TOC or one of these events up here. Pace Academy and Warner Robin, man. I see it coming, man.
Falling for that.
oh no,
That's the okie doke.
No big tournament in Atlanta. No, we playing Griffin or somewhere like that. I'm not going all the way to Atlanta. I'm like, no sir, not in Pace Academy.
Coach Sad, you got anything?
Yeah, man, just like Coach Garman said, man, appreciate y'all coming on, accepted the invite, man. I think this is something that people needed to hear from you guys, man. Y'all, like Coach said, y'all are all successful coaches, man, in your own right. Y'all doing things the right way. Y'all are great role models for me, and I'm sure Coach Charles and Coach Kenny, man. You know, we look at y'all and look at y'all's success and try to model the things that we do with the youth and the young people the way y'all are doing it. And so that's why, you know, I talked to Coach Garman and, you know, told him, hey, man, let's try to get a coach draft. Like he named y'all guys and we got y'all on, man. And we really appreciate it. And I'm pretty sure that the viewers, they love to hear y'all, all the tidbits y'all drop, man. It's great, man. I really do appreciate it.
Yeah. Coach Charles?
No, I just want to thank all the coaches, man, for dropping those nuggets, man. Like I said, I coach a younger group, and listen to you guys. It helps me to create my own philosophy and principles with the knowledge that you guys are giving, because you guys have been doing it for so long and had success at it. So I appreciate that, and I hope other coaches are out there listening, whatever level they playing at, whether it's rec, AAU, middle school, high school, whatever the case may be, man. It's a lot of good stuff, a lot of good knowledge. A lot of years of coaching on this show today, man. I hope somebody took something away from it, man. We just appreciate you guys being on the show, most definitely.
And I can only foot stomp that, right? So after every show, I normally go back and watch it anyway, because it's something I missed or whatever the case would be. So definitely this one, I'll be with a pen and pad, rewatching it, taking down some notes. Too bad we couldn't get into what sets you run, but we'll bring you guys back on to figure that piece out.
Yeah, I got some questions. I got some questions for a couple guys in this thing.
Yeah. Hey, so again, man, appreciate y'all being on the Off the Dribble podcast. You're more than welcome to come back on anytime you got anything going on. This platform is open to you guys. Just get in touch with us, and we'll get you back on. And if you got something you want to plug or something coming up and things you think we need to know about. To our viewers, we appreciate y'all watching. We appreciate you being active in the comment section, asking your questions. Again, like I said, the episode will be up on YouTube probably in the next 20 minutes. Go back and rewatch it. Dissect it, understand what you're doing. We're here for the culture. So if there's nothing else to say, thank you for showing up. Peace.